What's up, guys? Back in me series, Sabrina Teenage Witch, Season 2, Episode 20, My Nightmare, The Car. Okay, so this episode starts off with Sabrina asking how how her how her trip was to the Arctic, and she's like, where's Sam the cat? And then we get to a transition to see that she forgot him on Mount Everest or the Arctic. He's like, ooh, is that a Yeti? And after the intro, Valerie's like, hey, let's buy a car, and we need to buy a car, and yeah, so they try to make their point. Yes, because they want to buy a car to go to the symposium, and since Hilda, after some begging from Sabrina, won't go out for craft for some weird reason. Yeah, they said their last date was. Yeah. So anyway, they're like, we need to buy a car. So they give them their point plan, and then we get a montage of them trading the car, doing all this stuff, till they realize it's too much and get into an argument. And then Sabrina's like, it's all like, all Valerie's fault or something. And Sam the cat, who somehow got back from the Arctic, don't know how. I don't know how, but he did. Probably from that Yeti that he saw. Was like, hey, you can buy other cars from the other realm. So she goes to a car where the quizmaster ends up. This is his part-time job. He's like, hey, I'll show you a bunch of cars, and she sees this car. And once she buys it, it just boom crashes into her house. Literally crashes into her house. So she tries to transport it everywhere, and it talks, and it's like, he doesn't like the cold, so she's like, so she puts it in the garage because it might get hypothermia or something, and Valerie sees it, and Valerie's like, hey, I'm gonna get the car, so she's like, Sabrina, can I have the car? And she's like, sure. And she's like, hey, Sabrina, I have the car. And she's like, why? And she's like, I gave it to Prince of Crap so he could give us to that, so we could go to that seminar or something. But, and then when she goes home, she's like, where's Hilda? And she's like, she went on a date with Prince of Crap in the car. So she has to like sneak around. And the car like zooms off because it got sad, and then the car busts in again with Zelda and Principal Craft in the car, and Zelda's like, you're in big trouble, Sabrina, and she's like, what Principal Craft? And he's like, he kind of got knocked out after the terror of the car, so yeah, and they're like, we gotta stop using the potions on. We gotta stop using the potions on him. So yeah. And yeah, now I think Principal Kraft is now suspicious of her because when she goes to school the next day, because now that his plans failed and he canceled the seminar, she's like, oh yeah, because I was on a date with your aunt, and then I woke up on your porch, so I kept a file of the mysterious supernatural activities that have happened every time you're around, or something like that. And yeah, so this episode is also about Hilda and Zelda. Hilda and Zelda. They're the guy that they usually have magic from took their magic bonus or something to give himself a vacation in Hawaii. So basically, yeah. And now Zelda's the only one who can't do magic now. Hilda's off the hook, so Zelda's the only one that can't do magic. And they're like, oh yeah, here's your, and the person's like, here's your new way of doing magic, magician's hat. And basically she's like, boom, magician's hat, and she has to wear it. And Sam the Cat's like, oh, he was bad. And yeah, mean Sam the Cat, but come on. Yeah, mean Sam the Cat, and yeah, come on. But yeah, magic's hard. Magic using magic is fine with your hands, but using magic out of a hat, that's hard. What were they thinking? Not taking away her power. They could have took Hilda's away, but Zelda. I know Zelda's, the one in this show that you should not listen to because they always, every time she gives advice, they ignore it. They just go on with their own plan. But come on, why would they do this to Zelda? Yeah, and also this episode was very good for Sabrina. Yeah, and yeah. There's also a funny scene where she said that she can't have a car. She was like, "Oh, really?" And she was like something about a car or something. And yeah, well, this episode was really good. It showed Valerie and Sabrina that buying a car is hard. Like having a car between two people is hard because you have to give it to the other person, and give it to the other person, and give it to the other person, and give it to the other person. It's very hard. Like you have to keep swapping to give it to the person. And yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. Okay, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you next. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.